Imagine walking the very paths that awaken your soul, where every stone, every temple, every sacred site holds a key to your divine essence. From December 11th to 18th, 2025, embark on your initiation into the Merkaba grid, a transformative pilgrimage designed to activate your ancient body technology and reconnect with your own light body. Experience a private ceremony between the paws of the Sphinx, a star-filled desert overnight stay in the Valley of Whales, exclusive access to the Great Pyramid's inner chambers, and deep feminine mysteries at hidden places of the Rose lineage in 𝘊𝐵𝐺𝐵. Engage in daily alchemical teachings, sacred rituals, and sisterhood circles, all set against the backdrop of Egypt's timeless landscape. This isn't just a journey, it's a soul remembrance. Are you ready to awaken the light within? Spaces are limited. Click the link in the show notes to claim your place in this life-changing experience and join us this December. Welcome back, Sacred Travel friends. I am very stoked to have not one, but two beautiful ladies with me today that are both very passionate about working with the body as an ascension tool and mapping to track consciousness and come home to your most radiant self-expression. Alexandra and Yana are two friends, sisters, and retreat partners who co-guide embodied experiences for women. Together, they invite you to reconnect with your cyclical nature, balance giving and receiving, and reclaim your radiance. We'll explore how womanhood and motherhood invite us into cycles and how embodying those cycles change how we live, love, and lead in tune with our bodies. And some spoiler alert, they have a powerful but soft retreat in Greece coming up soon, where you get to experience all that we will be diving deeper into today and more. So stay tuned for Reclaim Your Radiance. You'll hear more about this in this episode. Welcome, ladies. I am so excited to finally make this conversation happen. Yana has been on the show before, but now I have the honor to speak to both of you. Welcome.
Thank you. It's always good to be back here.
Yay! So my first question, and it's always special to have two people on the show. My first question as we dive into this powerful, topic that unlocks so much for everybody, I guess. When you speak about cyclical nature, what cycles do you actually mean? And how does this differ maybe from the way that we are brought up or conditioned or that we run most of the time in our lives? Maybe Yana, you want to answer that one?
Yes, thank you. And welcome everyone. When we speak about cyclical natures, it's obviously so multi-layers. You talk about it yourself on the Sacred Travel when connecting with the land. So it is a connection with the seasons of nature. It is a connection with the moon phases. In our case, we make the link between all of these and the connection with our menstrual cycle as we direct most of our work to and for women. So weaving all of these in also with the archetypal cycles, connecting these seasons or cycles with the archetypes. So going from the Maiden to the Mother, to the Enchantress, to the Wise Woman, and really exploring how they show up not just in our physical body, but also in our emotional body and energetic body. And as we know, these cycles also are the cycles of nature, right? Or are the seasons. But you said it already, most of us have been conditioned to live in a linear way that almost demands us, and we're recording this towards the end of the summer, almost requires us to constantly be in summer mode, to constantly be in productivity mode, in a constant giving. And most of us ignore the rest of the cycles, and then this is where burnout happen. So living cyclically is about really healing our way of living and coming back to the sacredness, not only of the land, but to the sacredness of our bodies. And I just want to say also, before we dive into our podcast, for whoever is listening, if we have male listeners, that this is living in our cyclical nature is not only directed to women, because you two gentlemen come from the womb and you are tuned from when you are in the womb to the cyclical nature. You deserve as well to benefit from rest, action, and renewal from all these cycles. And the second reminder I would like to say is also, because we get it, both Alexandra and I, a lot, is if you no longer have your womb or no longer bleed, this doesn't mean that your cyclical nature doesn't apply to you, because it is embedded in us. And cycles live, as I said, live in nature, in the moon, in the archetypes. So they are already embodied beyond the physical aspect of it. So I just felt it is our essence also as women. I just felt to set the ground for this before we dive in.
And thank you for doing that. I feel that's very important, because maybe there's people who are like, okay, that's not for me anyways. No, stay with us.
Yes.
There is some wisdom in here as well. And it's especially what you say about, the men and the women. I was, funny enough, like when I was visiting Kos, so another Greek island, in the summer this year, I was put so much into what for the men it's more that circadian rhythm, right? Because it's a daily cycle. It's a different cycle than for women. And I was getting in contact so much with this while like exploring the more masculine energy inside myself. So that was very interesting. So thanks for bringing that up. And yeah, I'd like to know, Alexandra, maybe you can elaborate a little bit how discovering your own cyclical nature has changed your very personal story or maybe journey of being a woman and especially also a mother.
Yes, definitely. So as Yana said, I feel that I need to just set the grounds here, because there is the cyclical nature of our women's cycle. I speak here as a woman. So, or cycle or periods, but there's also cycles of life. And it's like blending both of them together, which I find sometimes very tricky. I'll just do a little explanation of how I realized both were actually linked and how I could navigate them. When my husband and I decided to have a child, we were faced with many challenges. And this is where it hit me, actually. It's like, okay, now I'm in this phase and this cycle of wanting to be a mother, but nature has decided otherwise in the beginning. And how can I get in touch with my inner cycle to pair both together? Because usually women wake up a lot at that timing where they face this first thing of, oh, but nature should be with me. It should be my body. It should be like this. And how, when it's not like this? Because nature is not always tender and nurturing. Nature can be wild and strong and very hard to face yourself and your cycle. So I find that getting in tune with yourself and listening to your body helps you move through the cycles of life that your mind has decided, and not that nature has decided for you. So for me, it was first getting in touch with my body, and not only with my mind, getting back into the womb, getting back into this gut feeling, into my intuition. And this helped me navigate 5 years of IVF and infertility period of life. And actually, I'm very grateful now for this. In the beginning, it was not easy, of course, but I'm very grateful we went through this, because it helped us really, my husband and I, to take the questions of where are we at, what do we want, and also bring back joy into the cycles of life that are harder. And this really I want to pinpoint for women, that are sometimes a bit lost is that finding joy in darkness is possible. If you get in touch with your womb, if you get in touch with yourself, if you find healing and the path to healing. Sometimes it's words and it seems very intimidating, but honestly, it's not that bad. And also now that fast forward, I have 2 tiny children. I was blessed to move to the cycle of motherhood, and it's a whole other roller coaster where finding my balance and my rhythm with their rhythm is a constant evolution. Some days we are on our moon and it's very difficult because you have to push through, but where into life can I have pockets into this daily struggle sometimes to find myself back and to get back in touch. And also verbalizing it really helps. Not being about constant sacrifice, but becoming it about rhythm and talking, also communicating about these rhythms of our cyclical nature to the people we live with, because some people are not aware of that. And by just telling like, look, today is day 26, it's a bit more tricky. I'll do my best. I'm here at maybe 50%. Can you meet me at 50%? And the children don't care about your 50%. For them, you have to be always 100%. But they get it. You're like, okay, mommy today is a bit more tired. Let's work together for this. And sometimes it's chaos, and also you flow with it and you just breathe through it as well. So for me, it's still realizing, and it's still a work in progress, but definitely being in tune with my body helped me being there for my family, for my friends, and through life in awareness and what's happening inside, and already acknowledging it helps to really say, okay, I'm here today and that's what I can offer. I'll do my best. And already just saying that helps a lot. So
Wow, thank you. That's been such an inspiring empowerment story. And yeah, I was like wondering now, I think you have 2 kids, right? So that's such a beautiful like testament to how powerful it actually can be when we like come back to that listening. And I know at least two people in my field that are on an IVF journey, so I'm definitely going to share that episode with them. So just to hear you talking about it. So thanks for sharing that very personal thread. And now that we kind of like sit with this mother archetype, I feel that is she is very much that double-edged sword in a way of like constantly giving, but also being able to nurture herself and receive. And I feel this is what many women struggle with, and this constant overgiving, whether this is at work or in the family environment or also in relationships. And what do you think, why it is so difficult for women to actually also receive? And why do you believe that it is important at this point in time even more for women to really reclaim that cyclical wisdom inside?
I'll take that. At first, I just want to... Alexandra, you put tears in my eyes, even though I know the story and I lived it with you.
you were there. Hold my hand.
And because I think these tears are also honoring every woman who is on this journey, and also tears of joy, because what you didn't mention, maybe Alex, is that your second 𝘁𝗵𝗀𝗁 Venus came fully naturally and was pure. And I feel like this also is a message of hope, maybe for women who are listening. Is at least this is my interpretation, is that she came fully as an embodiment of what you have been embodying, and your reconnection with all of yourself, all the aspects of you, with 𝘁𝗍𝗯, the limitless, the endless time, and with your power of creation, right? And as you said, it's mixing both. This is also what mother is, and this is what Mother Nature is, this destruction and creation. So I just wanted to take a minute for that. And coming back to your question, Julia, is yes, how to move from this constant giving is, I feel, the struggle of every woman and this mother archetype. And I feel we are at a period of time. I think it has always been urgent, but it's even more urgent. I feel it in our time because it's as if this struggle and this burnout has become almost normal for women, but also for everyone, right? And we, since I think maybe, I don't know, the Industrial Revolution, we have become so much conditioned to measure our worth by how much we are producing and how much we are giving. And yeah, most of us are so brilliant at giving, right? And we've been trained to do that, especially in the mother archetype, because we only see from the mother archetype the one who nurtures and the one who holds. And where we struggle the most is on the receiving aspect, because most often we forget that it is our birthright. And there's a whole topic of worthiness here.
Have you ever sensed that your body carries an ancient technology, a memory of how it is meant to operate at its highest potential? 𝘆𝑐𝗂'𝗹𝗋 lights can help you reconnect with your own original body blueprint, gently guiding every cell to remember its innate balance, vitality, and conscious awareness. With 𝘆𝑐𝗂'𝗹𝗋 lights, high vibrational imprints of nature meet quantum technology. Each drop works gently, supporting your body's innate intelligence and self-healing capabilities on body, mind, and spirit level. This isn't just skincare. Imagine revolutionary personal care products that not only help with anti-aging and cell regeneration, but actually crack open consciousness codes in your cells, giving you access to the highest version of self every single day. As you move through your day, it's more than wellness. It's a conscious journey. Each drop supports your energy, aligns your vibration, and opens the doorway to your higher self. Waking up lighter, feeling more balanced, radiant, and connected. Step into your highest vibration. Try 𝘆𝑐𝗂'𝗹𝗋 lights today and feel the difference that energy intelligence can make in your life. Your energy, your blueprint, your divine essence, fully restored. Click the link in the show notes to learn more.
And going back to the archetypes, I was reflecting on that yesterday when I was preparing the podcast. I realized that, the maiden, she receives fully. So she doesn't shy away from receiving because she's still in both her innocence and her power, and she takes what is there, and she also gives life in her fullness. It's mostly on the later phases of our cycle and in the archetypes of the wild woman and the enchantress where we're like, no, I don't want to receive. And I find it often in my womb healing work where I hear women say, I hate my luteal phase. I don't know how to be my wild woman. And just a reminder, the enchantress, when she's fully embodying herself, she knows that she is worthy to claim her powers, to claim her pleasures, to claim her boundaries. And this is where we struggle. And this is where I believe we reject these two last phases of our cycles. So the resistance definitely comes from, because receiving goes against the story we have inherited, but in truth, receiving also replenishes us, and it allows us to go back to what Alexandra says, to be this joy, to be this also sustainable giving, and to be rooted in giving and in love rather than depletion. And it's beautiful, when you look at our cycles, it is this balance between receiving and giving. So the maiden receives, the mother gives, the enchantress is fully ready to receive if she's embodying it. And then the wise woman is a weaving of all, but she's also, like going into her cave in order to give life to the maiden again. So our cycles are naturally built on that. It's just our work, I believe, is to heal the shadow, or is to heal what we're not comfortable with in our cycle in order to fully embody it and receive.
Wow. Now, I'd like to know from Alexandra, like navigating that family life, the kids, the work, all of that. How do you balance that giving and receiving?
Well, it's a very good question. And first, I think I try to do my best, and some days are easier than others. But I'm a firm believer of it takes a village to raise a child. And I think in our modern lives, we definitely forgot that. And definitely allowing ourselves to ask for help, being in our vulnerability is way harder for women now, I feel, because we have to be it all and have it all. And especially with social media, where you see the ideal pictures sometimes that are not reality, even puts more pressure. So back to my experience is that I have a village here. I live in Dubai, so I'm very, very grateful to have an amazing person who helps me every day, who is of course their dad. But we have also a lovely help that is part of our family now, and she's a woman also, and together we talk a lot because she also has a cyclical nature, very different from mine. So it's also very interesting. So she's our village and she helps us, and this allows me to work as well. And definitely I think it's also a bit of giving up the guilt. I've been good at that, I have to say. I do not allow myself to feel this guilt. Of course, I feel it, but then I'm like, okay, I feel it and it's all right. It's all right to feel guilty, but I'm not going to give up what I want to do because of the guilt. So I feel that also it's healthy for my children to see their mother thrive, to see their mother happy, to see their mother being there 100% for them, even if it's not 100% of the time. And I think it's also a good example to find this independence in the children of being okay with their mother not being there 100%. And I feel that the guilt for mothers that work 100% and are there only once or twice a day for a limited short period of time is very, very big in our culture. And I invite these women to realize what they're offering their children by allowing them to see a mother work, to see a mother care for themselves, to see the strong women that they are. And for women that work from home or are housewives, also it's the whole thing, right? If the mother works too much, oh, there's blaming. If the mother is there, oh, she's just a housewife. And it's the hardest work ever. So I feel that it's all about balancing and allowing ourselves to go through these natures and say, okay, today I'm that and it's fine. And finding this balance between being able to do what it's needed for your family, but also being able to say, okay, now I need time for myself. Otherwise, I won't be able to show up for the world, be it for my children, for the work, for friends. It has to be in balance with your cyclical nature, because I believe that, as Yana said very wisely, that women burn themselves out when they don't listen to their nature, to their body sending signals. And often I find that when my body sends me a signal, the first thing I do is like, oh, it's fine, I'm going to tend to it later. But then I go back to the wisdom, I go back to my mat. And when the energy flows, when I feel this energy of womanhood, of the womb, of the heart coming back, it's definitely there. The message is there, and I have to listen, because otherwise you're gonna lose yourself.
Thank you. Can
I
you
hope this
elaborate
answers the questions.
Well, yes, and I feel it's very helpful just to hear personal experience, because it's exactly what you say. Like, there's a lot that we can see as like playbook or tips or like social media covers out there, but like what happens behind the scenes in the households, in the family is a total different story. So I feel this is where the juicy things come in. And I'd love for you to elaborate a little bit. Can you share a practice with us that helps bringing the cyclical wisdom into the body so it like drops from the mind perspective into the body?
For that, I would say definitely breath. So pranayam, maybe 5 minutes in your car or in the morning. I try to do it in the morning before everyone gets up. Just even brushing your teeth is just closing your eyes, tuning in with this deep ujjayi breath, actually the ocean breath, this breath of movement of nature, of cyclical nature that moves from the root chakra, the anchor, to anchor yourself in the morning. I find it very, very, it changes the day. When you breathe through your feet, through your core, through your womb, and then you let it sparkle through your belly, you move the fire up to the heart and then to the throat, to the third eye, and then to the crown chakra to link yourself with your guides, but also to be grounded here, to be able to do the work and to be there for the work, but also allowing yourself to move through that like in a day. And when life becomes a bit crazy and the day takes over, just sometimes just closing your eyes and reconnecting through the womb, through the root, and through your feet is for me is it's the biggest tool in my toolbox. It's just calming down everything to breathe and shifting the gear of the mind of doing the to-do list to, okay, let's just take a step back here because this becomes crazy. This is really my tool. And I try, and my husband, even if he's not really into all of this, he lives with me for 15 years, so now he knows it, and he does it as well. He's like, okay, let's just take a step back. And I have seen him show it to the kids, so I'm so glad. And this is really the biggest tool. Is really reconnecting to your breath, to your body, is something that can really reshift the whole thing when things becomes crazy.
Thank you for sharing that. It sounds so simple, right? But it's so powerful. So I'm going to try that tonight and tomorrow morning while brushing my teeth. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And Yana, can you maybe also share from your perspective for women who are listening to this and they want to go deeper, like with connecting and embodying their cycles? Where do they begin?
Sure.
What can be a first step?
Yes, I just want to say, Alex talked about 100% and the guilt, and I want to share something from my experience, both from the corporate side and also and myself, and for tending for women. Often it's a matter of perception, right? Because we often think our 100% is 100%, but a reminder that our 100% is often 150%. So you're already doing enough. Like I just want to say this to all the women because you are trying to juggle everything. So yes, as Alexandra said, the guilt is just, I'm saying that just for those who are feeling guilty to ease the guilt a little bit. For what my advice, and this is something that helped me on my personal journey, also connect with my womb. And in one of the previous podcasts, right, we talked to Julia, you and I, about how I had lost my connection with my womb, is truly tracking our cycles. So I know now what's really trendy and easy is to download an app and track your cycle on the app. But when I say tracking your cycle, is not just knowing when you are ovulating or when you are receiving your moon blood. Is really on a day-to-day basis tracking your emotions, tracking how you're feeling. How am I feeling today? Am I feeling inwards? Am I feeling creative? Am I needing to rest? What do I want to wear? Am I more in my colorful mood? Am I more in my large clothes I want to hide mode? And all of these little hacks help us understand actually where we are in the cycle. So, and also listen to ourselves, not waiting for an app to tell us how should I feel today, which is very, very present these days. And in that, like my advice and where it really helped me is to do that for like a month or two, ideally for 3, because this is where we go a little bit deeper into understanding our cycle. And then from there, from this awareness becomes our map. And this is where I can see the pattern and I can, as much as I can, again, align my life according to that. So I know that, like this will be the time where I will be bleeding. So maybe I'll avoid putting a social event, or I'll avoid having a big meeting at my work. Now, there are things that we can control ourselves and there are things that we cannot. And this is where I go back to what Alexandra said. It's then, like our precious throat is our tool, because this is where we communicate. And in our communication, we're also educating the people around us, whether these are our children or also our men or our colleagues. So yeah, this tool was key for me. And then from there, it's not only the embodiment is on different level, on the body level, but also on the emotional level. And we're taking it a step further into our whole life.
Thank you. I was just reflecting on, when I started. So the first time I think that I went to my genealogist, she gave me that little sheet, but it was also like a linear tracking where you had to put like these crosses, but it was all linear. And then at a certain time, I started to use these wheels. I came across them, some templates that I just like downloaded from a lady from a webpage. And it made such a difference, just like the way to understand that it's not a line, like it's a cycle, it's a circle. And then using the different and doing that manually, like literally writing down with your handwriting, how do I feel, what's happening on that day. And then I was so surprised when I started. So I had accumulated a couple of months and I was kind of like overlaying and playing with the quadrants of these 26 to 28 days. And I could really see patterns and was like, oh my God, every time in my cycle, that exact day, I start arguing with my husband. So let's change it or let's become aware of it and just, no. And as you said, like educate people around what's happening. And then it's really, insane. It's like, again, so simple, but it's so powerful.
Yes. And I'm finding myself now, like, now I'm 43. My cycle is also changing. So even though like this is a practice that I have done before, but now I'm feeling like, oh, it's not the same. Like some patterns are changing. So it's also like I am going back to this practice again to try to understand, okay, what is happening? What is changing in my life? So it is really a continuous practice, and that we don't have to do all the time, but then, let me come back to it to explore a little bit more. Yes.
Yeah.
What we can do is we can also maybe, share and on the description, maybe share one wheel, one cycle. We're happy to do so. It's not like I created. I took it from one of my teachers, Miranda Gray, and would be happy to put it on
Thank you. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's beautiful. And, also just to like go back to the greater cycles, like it's truly a tool for mapping, like mapping yourself, mapping your own body, and then how that relates to nature, to the greater cycles, to the family nervous system, everything. Yes, please. So we're going to putting the link in the show notes and you can download it. Amazing. Alexandra, you mentioned the breath. Is there any other practice where you feel that, like, this is one practice I'm not skipping no matter how busy life gets?
Well, it's a good one because I was tested this summer as we moved around a lot and everyone was really needy, and you have to tend to the needs of your children, of your family, but also of your greater family, and managing everyone's expectations, yours, where you're at, setting boundaries. So the one thing I find crucial is before falling asleep, whatever you do. Of course, we know that screens are not a good thing, and sometimes we still do it. But really, rather you have a screen or you're reading a book really helps before going to sleep. Is to There's the 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Karani that I really love. It's legs up the wall. It's really, really easy. You put a big cushion under your bum and you put your legs up the wall. It can be on a bed, it can be on a chair, it can be wherever, even if in a very, very tiny place, there's always space. And just putting your hands on your womb and your heart and pairing it with the breath. So there's a physiological thing happening in your body when legs are up. It's just the blood flows back and your heart doesn't need to pump that much. So it really calms down the body, the nervous system. It allows the womb and your whole pelvic bowl to be flooded with blood, which gives this replenishing essence, especially for women, men as well. And whatever your day was like, it's really one of my two go-tos when ending the day, to really reset, to get all what we need during our sleep. So rest and softness and care for our body. The 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Karani is really, really a great one to go to. This I often don't skip. Even if I'm super tired, I do at least minimum 5 to 10 conscious breathing. And sometimes it takes just 5 breaths to just calm down the mind. And then the physiological body comes in, because this guy here is so strong. So the breath is good, but sometimes you need to help him. And also Yana would tell me, I remember her when she was doing some theta healings with me. It's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Because your mind always plays harder than the hardest thing that could happen. Of course, it can be hard. I'm not saying that, but often the mind extrapolates and elaborates more than what the reality really is. And 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Karani with calming the nervous system really helps. And this is one I don't skip. Unless, just one little thing here, unless you're onto your moon and you have very, very heavy bleeding, just lie down then and just a cushion under your knees. But otherwise, this is the one.
Wow, thank you. I'm learning so much here. And Yana, for you, what is one ritual that you never skip in your own cycle?
It's a little bit similar and different. But we go back to this connection with the womb. It's a reminder for me also to do a little bit more of 𝘁𝗵𝗁 Karani. But what I do is the womb mapping. So again, before I sleep or at any time in the day when I feel like I'm stressed or I'm losing connection with myself, I try to lay down if possible. And it's a very simple practice where you are actually placing your hands on your womb and gently tracing from the hip bones to the pubic bones. So you're retracing in a way your womb, and you're in a like there is this practice of closing the bones, right? So you're reconnecting with your bones, you're reconnecting with your womb, and you're coming back to the self. And very interestingly, also from an energetic point of view, every corner of these 4 points represents one archetype. So wherever I am in the cycle, I'm giving a little bit more attention to wherever I'm also feeling maybe a little bit more tension. And I combine this to talking to my womb, which for some might feel a little bit weird, but I swear it's a beautiful practice. And for me, was very key to coming back to my connection, especially when I get closer to either to my ovulation phase or my bleeding phase. I always say, I am ready to receive you. I'm ready to release. I love you. I know it will be, and I know for some women, who are suffering from PCOS or endometriosis, the period pain is undeniable. So I know what I would what I would say is, I know we are hurting, I know there is pain, and I am tending to the pain. And this is where, like, holding the womb is not pushing away the pain or all what is happening, this whole huge mechanism that is happening, but holding in a way the pain. Yeah, and then, like, the connection with the womb and the heart is here. And coming back to what Alex said, focusing on the womb is also bringing us from this mind, rooting us down into our sacredness again. So, yeah.
Would you be open to just like lead us through a 5-minute practice?
Of course.
Yeah? Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, sure. So, wherever you are, even if you're sitting, actually, if you have the chance to lay down, simply putting your 2 hands on your womb to start. And just taking a moment to come back to your breath, to simply notice where your breath is. And maybe saying to yourself, I am here right now. I am dedicated this minute or so to you, to myself. And now feeling your breath going all the way down to your perineum, to your womb. Feeling these waves of inhale and exhale. And maybe asking, what do you need right now? How are you, simply? And whenever you're ready, moving your 2 hands to the edges of your hip bones, to your hip bones. Your right hip bone, your left hip bone. I am here, I am holding you. And here we're going to start to bring our fingers descending from our hip bones, tracing really this triangle towards the pubic bone without rushing, and maybe stopping in the middle, in the midpoint between your hip bone and your pubic bone. And pausing here for a minute, maybe noticing the right side and the left side. Noticing where there is ease and maybe where there is tension. Acknowledging. And now tracing all the way down to your pubic bones. So these little bones that you're feeling next to your yoni, linking your hips with your upper thighs. I am here. I am holding you. And naturally, your hands are joining together, or your fingers, your thumbs and second fingers are joining in a downward facing triangle. I love you. I am listening to you. I am ready to receive you. And simply listen. Listen to her wisdom. Listen to your wisdom. And in that, you are feeling your groundness. And whenever you're ready, maybe bringing these hands to your heart as you come back and link the womb and the heart. And whether you're moving back to your work or back to your motherhood or back to your space, you know that you are moving through the wisdom of your womb and your heart. And opening your eyes whenever you're ready.
I always love them.
You know what? My eyes just started to water like crazy. But it doesn't even feel like I'm crying, but it's just like, ooh, okay. Wow.
That's powerful.
So calming. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's our waters moving.
Yes.
Sometimes I just need us to remember that they are here and they are in this constant flow. And this is where, combining this breath with, it's as simple, sometimes we feel like, oh, I need to do a whole thing. I don't think it even took us 5 minutes, right? Yeah.
Thank you. So let's move a little bit from the body, weaving in also like sacred lands and myth. Yana, I know that you weave a lot, let's say the embodiment part, but also working with the different archetypes, goddesses, sacred lands. So can you share more how mythology and also places are woven into your approach?
Sure. I am a fond believer that mythology is here to to mirror actually our cycles to us. Whether we believe it or not, like just now saying that mythology is like we made it a myth as if it's not reality, but it is a reflection of our reality and it's just showing us our reality. And these myths are available for us on every land and for every culture. So maybe now I'll give the example of the Greek mythology because we are we are going to Greece in 2 months, right? And I just came back to Greece, but every land or every culture, whether from the Hindu civilization to the Sumerian, to the Greek, to the Canaanites, to the Egyptian, gave us archetypes that trace our cyclical nature. So in Greece, for example, you feel it. I felt it everywhere. I felt Demeter's myth with the archetype of the mother, the nurturing mother who is tending to her daughter Persephone, who is representing the maiden, right? And then in the myth, just reminding a little bit the myth, Persephone chooses to go in the underworld, to go in the water and meet the god of the underwater. And then the maiden becomes the enchantress. I mean, I think modern mythology made her a victim. But again, right, a reminder of how we want to reject the enchantress. But she went down to the underworld to explore her sensuality, to reclaim her power, to reclaim her yes and her no. And this is where Demeter, the mother, also the very overprotective mother, decided to remove fertility right from the lands. And this is where, going back to the cyclical nature of the lands, this is where for us, autumn starts and we go into winter because fertility on earth goes away and fertility comes back only when Persephone goes to the upper world. And whether we are sensitive to this or not, we feel it in our own ways. When I was in Paros a month ago, not even a month ago, I connected so much with the wilderness. I connected with the wild side and I was feeling Persephone. There it was presented more into Artemis, the Artemis archetypes as well, like the huntress, right? The one who is so sovereign. She is both, again, the maiden and the enchantress. And you could see it in nature. You could see it in the quality of the lands. You could see it in the wildness of the waves. We're talking a lot about the waters. The waves were also reflecting, at least to me, to embody also my wild side. And it's very interesting because I feel I wanted to share that because I was sitting on the beach on one side of the island, and I was feeling so much as well this push and pull with the mother, as I am journeying as well with a change in my relationship with my own mother. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling this, overprotective side of Demetra or Demeter. What is happening? And my curiosity, and this is something I got inspired by you, Julia. I took my map and I checked, I knew I was facing Naxos. And of course, what I find in front of me is the huge temple, still standing temple of Demeter in Naxos. And I was like, oh, okay. And, sometimes we can make it joyful and fun and explorative, but they are ever present, and we don't need to understand all of it, but just know the reason I'm talking about it is because very often talking about mythology or myth can be impressive for some, or can be also unorthodox because for some it contradicts also our religious beliefs maybe. But I find in every women's circle where we sit and we talk about this, it's just giving something tangible to relate to and to say, yes, I can relate, Oh, yes, she did that. And why didn't I know also this part of the story? So there's the said and the unsaid, and weaving into all of these is just an integration of all our cycles. It's also, I find, making the descent or the second phase of our cycle more relatable and more understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Wow. Is there any myth about womanhood specifically, or maybe motherhood, that the two of you would like to dissolve?
I'll go first, maybe before this one. The first one is I have to do it all alone. For motherhood, women with children, you decided to do this children with someone else. So the someone else is there as well to help carry the load. And I want to thank all the dads out there, especially from this generation who has grown so much. And I want to make something clear also is that often we talk about womanhood and rising and taking or reclaiming our power back. And it's not to shut down someone else's power. It's to raise together and to be together as a team, because a team is always stronger than someone on his own. And we are humans, so we're meant to be connected to each other. So I think this is very important. We don't have to do it alone. That's a big myth that women have to do it all. I want to really shatter it down. And yeah, for me, it's the biggest one.
Thanks. Yana, anything to add?
Yeah, thank you, Alexandra, for saying this and for reminding that. I feel what I would like to break is the myth of women have to be good at all. And I have to be a good mother, a good woman, a good partner. And if I feel that I'm failing in one of these, then I'm not a woman. And I want to share a live case in a way. Yesterday, I was holding space to a woman who it really broke my heart, because she said, I need to compensate with extra care because I'm not feeling very sensual right now. So, and then she said, I'm not a woman. And, it's also acknowledging that there are phases in our lives where, I'm not feeling maybe the sexual drive, or I'm not feeling the very motherly in the way anyway it's described to us, because what it means, there's no generic explanation of that, right? And yeah, it shows how many of us believe that our womanhood is conditional and that our value is tied to how much we give. We go back to where we started, right? Or how much I perform. So I would really love women to know that their vitality, their pleasure, their joy are not extras and are not luxuries, nor are they conditional. A woman is radiant or powerful simply by being herself, not by being like someone else. I am radiant. I can be radiant in my own way. You can be radiant in your own way. It's not defined. So just find your own formula. Even all what we said today is hacks, right? It's true. It's tips that might apply to you or not. Find your own formula just to remember your wholeness, because you are already whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add something here as well that resonates with me and Yana for sure on what you said, is that for women who are labeled alone and not in a partnership or not married and still have children or an amazing career, sisterhood is there. And I think we forgot it, is that even a single mother that has the feeling she has to do it alone, and sometimes in the fact she has, but still, I think we forgot to lean on to our friends as well. It's not only going out for drinks and a walk. It's also being there for each other. Like, look, I need a break. Can you help me today with this? And then vice versa. It's the balance of giving and receiving, but not being ashamed to touch into the sisterhood and telling our sisterhood or vulnerabilities, or when we're about to drown, showing other women that we're all in this boat together. And I feel that now, unfortunately, it's less and less.
I feel it's super important what what both of you shared, but just what you shared last, Alexandra, I feel, we are like, what I'm seeing in a lot of like spiritual communities is that there is like this preconception of like how sisterhood has to function. And there's this idea of like, yeah, we're going maybe even like on a trip together, or is like it's like this temple scenario where we're just like floating in fancy dresses, like doing rituals, singing, dancing all the time. But it's actually happening in our homes and in our families, where we are needed to be of service, and also in the community. So what you just said about like, it's about supporting each other, helping each other in this very, very tangible, mundane daily tasks, that the priestessing or whatever archetype you want to be using here is actually happening, and that we can rely on each other, and we are coming back to that village that you were mentioning in the very beginning. So thank you. So let's speak a little bit about your amazing retreat that is upcoming. Tell us, it's the second iteration already. So Reclaim Your Radiance is happening in Paros. Who is it for? What can women expect? Share a little bit more about that.
It's actually, who is it for? Is for every woman who is ready to not ready. It's seeking to embody all what she said, all what we said. Like who either needs a reminder to connect with her cycle, who also needs sometimes for herself, like we just said, talked about sisterhood. The retreat offers both. It offers this time of relating in sisterhood, on relying on sisterhood, but also to know that you deserve some time for yourself. So in order to take these practices back into our home, sometimes it's good to have the reminder to practice them by ourselves, and maybe in a mini community. It is a retreat that combines archetypes, wisdom, mythology, but also the wisdom of the body. And mostly I would say the wisdom of the body, because it's through the wisdom of the body that we are embodying all of this. So we have movement practice, we have a beautiful balance between active practices by Alexandra in the morning and maybe softer practices in the evening by myself, linked by circles in the middle of the day, and a lot of integration and rest time. And all our practices are weaved to explore the different phases of our cycles. So every day has a theme. Every day we are journeying with one of the archetypes on different levels, dissolving also the wounds that comes from these archetypes. There's a lot of healing that happen on this retreat, and how to activate our body in order to receive that. And Alexandra is she is the embodiment of that. All her offering is around the cycle. You can check also her YouTube, because she has these mini practices that respect and shows how our body maybe would want to move in the different aspects of our cycle. So one last thing I want to say, because Alexandra mentioned, rising in power and rising in radiance. And sometimes it can be a little bit, how to say, impressive to say, because we tested that at the beginning when we were talking about the retreat. We were like, reclaim your power. And we saw how women are like, no, power is too big of a word, or we associated power with maybe, the masculine or distorted power. And it's beautiful so we just, we reframed it into reclaim your radiance, but it's beautiful to see that power is also rest. Power is integration. Power is reclaiming the wisdom of your womb, reclaiming the wisdom of your voice, of your inner side. Power is beyond what, the very tiny definition that is very big in our world today. So yeah, just hop on that boat and join us in Greece. I don't know if Alexandra, you want to add something.
Maybe give us the dates as well.
Oh, yes.
For sure. So it's from 26th of October until 1st of November. It's also a really nice time to wrap up summer and autumn together. We chose this time because energetically it's also very important as we move from one cycle to another. We close this chapter of autumn together. And I feel last year was so beautiful to have the women explore all what Yana said. I think it's a beautiful blend of being and soft doing only for yourself. And also I want just to add that reclaim your radiance is because I had women like, yeah, but I feel okay, I'm good. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's great. And I think it's just a great opportunity to recharge the batteries of your body, of your mind, of your nervous system, and also to just rest and allow yourself to do what needs to be done for yourself during that week. And as Yana said, we have a nice program, but we have plenty of time to rest and integrate also. Not only doing receiving, only doing receiving.
Yeah, and thank you for
yeah, go ahead. One thing, because I'm a foodie, so it's very important.
Yes.
The food is amazing. It's nature, it's fresh, it's nourishing. And this is one of our things in our retreats that are also very important, is that the healing happens also through the earth nourishing us with these great gifts of the food. And yeah, it's also a big thing to enjoy this moment together, to take the time to observe, I feel that a meal shared together is always such a sacred moment.
Yes, and it's a
100%.
combination of the chef is Indian, and he's been in Greece for 12 years and in the same retreat center, which is a beautiful center that combines also simplicity and wilderness. And so it's a mix of Indian and Mediterranean. And I mean, when we're talking about, because this is what we're weaving as well, right? We're weaving mythology from these two places. And just also to jump on what Alexandra said earlier about the movement of cycles, it was beautiful to see women last year say, okay, now I feel ready to go into winter, which would have been the season that I dislike the most, and which is the season also in our moon cycle that we refute the most, right? So it's a beautiful preparation to get ready to receive what we are willing to, let go of in the winter, to die to maybe, and to seed for the next season and for the next year.
Was there any particular reason that you chose Paros?
Well, the myth, I mean, the food for Alexandra, because I think, and I hope I'm not overselling this this chef. For me, it is a particular place. This is where I seeded, talking about seeding. This is where 9 years ago, and talking about cycles as well. 9 years ago, around this time, I went to a retreat with the cycles myself to that retreat center in Paros. And this is where I seeded a seed of bringing change in my life and changing my career. And I am sharing, I feel like I want to share that because the seed took a lot of time, right? Like it took its time, but it got materialized. And it's just, I felt like I would want us to bring women there to plant their seeds as well.
Wow. And the 9 is a very particular, like a number also in the numerology about the closing and the reopening of a cycle. Amazing.
So we are calling in the 9, the circle of the 9.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I'm still holding the intention in my heart that I can join personally myself. I would love to come. So for everybody who feels, very intrigued now by the radiance as the power within and the archetypes, and of course, these two beautiful ladies, just being in your presence fills me up so much. So thank you for coming and for sharing all of these amazing, beautiful, easy, simple practices, but they're so powerful. Is there any final wisdom that you'd like to share with the audience?
Be you, and
the voice within.
Yes.
Listen to this little voice.
Yes, and ask for help, ask for support. There's no shame for asking for support.
Yeah. Give and receive. Amazing. Okay, so we are going to be putting the link to Reclaim Your Radiance in the show notes. Everybody, please check it out. And thank you, ladies. It's been a real treat to have you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really nice together this morning, and this triangle of energy. I feel so refreshed, to be honest.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning into this episode. I hope that there is lots of pieces of wisdom for you to reclaim your own radiance right now. And as always, stay curious and try to escape the ordinary. I'll see you next time.